Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of Last Call here on Stadium, on the YouTube channel, on the app. We are live in Stadium Studios here in Chicago. You can see the Chicago skyline. I don't know if you can be able to make it out behind us, but it's over there. Yeah, I promise you, we are actually here. It's not just something hanging up in the background. Make sure you jump in the chat here. Ask us questions. We are going to be answering them. This is going to be a Q&A heavy show. Jeff Goodman, Doug Gottlieb, Randolph Childress. My name is Rob Doster. We are the Field of 68. We are here on Stadium. And before we get into the Q&A portion of this program, the reason we're here in Chicago, Champions Classic happened tonight. We saw Kansas come back from 14 down to beat Kentucky, 89-84. We saw Hunter Dickinson go for 20 and 20. The first time anyone in the history of the Champions Classic has gone for 20 and 20. Kevin McCullough had a triple-double. The opener, Duke, 74, Michigan State 65. Michigan State is now 1-2 on the season. They finally made some threes. I want to ask you guys this. Doug, I'm going to go to you first on this one. The biggest winner from tonight in the city of Chicago, other than Jeff Goodman for being able to sit next to you on the show, was?
Wow. I mean, I think it has to be DeJuan Harris. You know, I mean, you look and you're like 5 threes, and you point out before he had 5 threes against Texas Tech. But stuff was leaking, right? Mm-hmm. They were leaking oil bad. And they don't have a dude that you can throw to and he'll just go. And they dared him. They knocked it down. And they dared him again. They went under a ball screen. And they knocked it down again. I would say DeJuan Harris, the legend of DeJuan Harris continues to grow.
I'm going to let him go next because I know he's taken. I don't want to take yours.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't want to take
it. Because he actually took mine.
Caleb Foster, Duke freshman who did not play well, hasn't gotten a ton of run. And honestly, he looked like kind of the supplementary Duke freshman until tonight. And tonight he stepped up. And it's always cool to see a guy like that, right? Like a guy you're not really thinking about and with the brightest lights shining. And he steps up like that, and just how he did it. And again, even keel, just kind of made plays, didn't talk shit, just did what he had to do.
He was the there's always one guy, one freshman at the Champions Classic that goes nuts. Tyrese Maxey did it. Yeah. Quentin Grimes did it. Trevor Keels did it.
Dillingham had a stretch there. We're like, who is guarding that? Nobody's guarding that dude.
He hit 4 in a row. I want Doug.
I think he thought he was playing AU ball.
Hey, Doug and RC, I want you both to answer this question, all right? There was a stretch where he hit a 3. Next possession, Dillingham came down, hit a 3. 2 possessions later, he came down, stepped back, boom, hit a 3. Next possession, it was transition. He just dribbled straight into the 3. On 4 in a row, on that 5th possession, when you're shooting that next 3, how
2 dribbles.
2 dribbles over half court?
2 dribbles.
Yes.
That's it.
It was gone.
Yes.
There's no way I'm passing that.
No question.
Everybody on my team, he passed it. That's what I said. I was impressed. I was impressed when he did that. I was like 4 in a row when he passed it.
And then you know what happened after that?
You got yanked.
Yanked him.
Kelly yanked him.
I was like,
I would have yanked him too. What the hell are you thinking? Like that's why he yanked him. He yanked him like
this.
You probably told him. Who we passing it to?
Right.
No, I was gonna say it's funny, but I was impressed with Kentucky.
Yeah,
it really was.
Gotta be.
And
because we thought they could get boat raced.
I did.
There was a chance.
And we
like looked early on like it would.
And like we said, we were like, get them early because we think they'd be better late.
Yeah.
I didn't know they'd be this good this early.
And Kansas jumped out early in the game.
Listen, they're gonna have people are gonna zone them, right? They're gonna lose to somebody who stinks.
They need to get their bigs back.
Let's put this in the context of this Kentucky performance, right? We thought their 2 best players coming into the season were going to be Justin Edwards and DJ Wagner. They combined to go 1 for 18 from the floor, right?
They could have won. They were up 6 with 3 to go.
Their best 3-point shooter, Antonio Reeves, was 3 for 17 from the floor. Yeah. They were up by 14 in the second half. They were up by 6 with
it's almost like
timeout.
Okay,
I mean, honestly,
you want to throw it at you?
Here, offensive rebounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
They shot.
They were so athletic.
They took 17 more shots than Kansas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I wish they would have done that I want to see that I think will affect Kansas and how we view Kansas is I was shocked that they didn't attack Hunter Dickinson and ball screens more.
Because they don't really have a roller, you know.
You don't have to. You just invite the switch.
But but he was playing kind of in the drop, and they were gapping.
But that's my point. Still, put him in ball screen, take speed. Dillingham coming at you, DeJuan Wagner coming at you.
I agree.
Is a lot better than the alternative.
Well, he got
I'm just
frustrated.
saying.
He got frustrated with Wagner because Wagner was driving into darkness in the first half and just forcing stuff. And I know we'll get to loser of the night. That would probably be him. I also like.
Are we doing loser of the night?
Well, we were going to do
Doug
biggest
just
loser.
started
I was,
loser of the
I was
night.
going to say my biggest loser of the night was Coach Cal. My biggest loser of the night was Coach Cal
Why?
because I thought you got to be able to win that game when you're up by 6 at the under 4 timeout. You have to be able to find a way to win that game.
Not when
I
all
don't-
three
I
of
don't
your
like-
guards are freshmen.
I don't like
not
Coach,
freshmen.
I don't
guards.
Tell
like
me,
the-
tell me the guy in that team that
They had to be up 10.
That's
They had to be up 10.
No,
They
tell
were
me,
up by 14.
And with Dillingham
No, but
fouling
then
out.
they had
With
to be up
Dillingham
10.
fouling
Dillingham
out.
fouled
No,
out. He was a foul,
no,
but
no.
tell me the guy. But Dillingham also shot an air ball before he fouled out.
Yeah, he did.
Like they.
But he wasn't afraid, and I can work
No,
with
he
that.
is not afraid.
So I can deal with
That
that.
is,
I can deal
he
with
is
it.
Neither is
He's
not-
not
Wagner.
afraid.
he is- they are
He's
not. They are.
afraid.
They are not afraid. That is going to be a fun team to watch.
Yes.
But
Fun.
like you said, they're going to have
they're
a
gonna
win
be-
that you're going to be like, holy
I'm
crap.
just telling you, the next 3 weeks, if I schedule one of the shows, I'm going to schedule it for whatever, and they're going to have a stinker. People are going to be like, the sky is falling, and then they're going to have a couple wins. You're like, oh my god,
How'd they lose
oh my
that?
god.
I think
They're-
you could
they're
say the
one of
same
those
for
teams.
Kansas. Because you talked about zoning them.
They're going to be really good defensively, though.
They're going to be
The
good
difference- the
defensively, but they're
difference
going to
in
have
Kansas-
tough.
difference
They're
in
going to have a
Kansas
tough
against
time
the zone-
scoring as
They
well.
are,
When Hunter
totally.
Dickinson is your best 3-point shooter,
One thing is, and this is like a flaw to the Big 12, nobody zones, but they're they actually know to get the ball inside against the zone. The problem is going to be Hunter Dickinson defending, and they have no depth behind Hunter Dickinson, like zero.
They
if
got
he,
it.
if he
And they-
gets in
and they
foul
can't
trouble,
rebound.
They have no depth, period.
Right.
And the
They don't
problem
have any
is what's
depth.
going to happen is when you have to take out Hunter Dickinson, like, look, Parker Braun did a couple
Brown.
nice things
Brown.
today. Brown. He also did a couple things that were very questionable today, right? And
I just
he's-
love that he's the older brother, that his
Yeah.
younger brother has already played at Kansas, won a national championship,
Yeah, it's so
played
weird.
a season in the NBA, and his older brother, who played at Missouri and Santa Clara, is now transferred in. You're like, wait, you're the older brother, and your younger brother's already gone? Like, that's so weird. That's college basketball 2023, though,
It
right?
sure is. All right, Goodman, give me your biggest loser of the night.
I don't want to play this game.
Okay, wait,
I'm a-
I want to do. I
I'm-
want to. I do want
biggest
to do one more.
loser-
Like I gave on the other show. I said Kyle Filipowski is going to be the national player of the year. Like, that kid's so good. Oh, his movement for a man that size, and
he's the most skilled 7-foot in the country.
and,
I mean,
and he's gotten better defensively. They've gotten. He's not. They got Ryan Young there to really kind of wall up, but he's gotten better. But last year he didn't shoot it as well as he shoot it now, and then he gets into his stuff and his spin move and passed out of double teams.
He had one pass tonight where I don't even think that he looked.
I thought it was
he
a dagger.
He was posting someone up. He saw the guy, the help side defender from the weak side, big guy, come over, and he just threw it on the other side of him, and it was.
He was like that the other night.
Ryan Young.
The other
Yeah.
night he was passing the hell out of it.
Man,
He's
he's
really
passing
good.
good
Yeah,
basketball.
he's really good.
He's a good basketball.
Biggest loser might have been that Kentucky fan near us.
Dude, he got hit.
He
with
was
a
the biggest
cane.
loser.
He got hit with a
though.
cane.
He got hit with a cane.
He got hit with a cane.
Wait, tell the
All
story.
right, so what happened
Somebody
was
threw a cane at him?
there was a Kentucky fan that was very vocal and very
Obnoxious.
loud, sitting right next to press row. He was obnoxious. He was loud. He was screaming. He had probably 9 Bud Lights.
Yes.
He was everything you want out of a fan, unless you are a fan of the other team. And an old Kansas fan that was sitting 2 rows in front of him at one point turned around and hit him with a cane. After
amazing.
Hunter Gibson hit that shot, the three, and bam! It did with that. The guy turned around and hit the dude with the cane.
Was that after the usher came over and yelled at him?
No, that was why the usher came over and
Oh,
yelled at him.
really?
Was because the guy hit him with a cane. The guy was like, I got hit with a cane. I didn't do anything wrong.
And the
I'm
most likely to be
cheering my team
suspended
on."
this year, it's going to be Hunter Dickinson.
Oh, no
right?
doubt. No
100%.
question.
Hold on.
100%.
Look, we got to do 30
Loves
seconds. We got to go to a break here in a second. We have to do 30 seconds on, bam, cutting a lead
three
to
at
7
the-
at halftime.
Yes.
I loved it.
You
did?
I thought it was
You're
hilarious.
down 7.5, and you do the.
Look, I'm not looking at it from a coach's perspective. I'm looking at it from a content perspective. That was awesome.
content
That was-
perspective, but hey, dude, you didn't make the tournament last year in Michigan. Don't be a clown. Get in the locker room. You're down 7.
Yeah, you're right. Look, you're not wrong. I loved it. I was cracking up. I was laughing my I don't know if I could say
You can
probably
say
curse
ass.
on this show. Yeah, I was laughing my ass off. All right. Doug said I could say it. Listen,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to take a quick break here. When we come back, chat questions start. I have them all listed right here on my phone. We got a couple doozies on here, guys. That's coming up next. Welcome back to Last Call here on the Stadium app and the Stadium YouTube channel. Doug Gottlieb, Jeff Goodman, Randolph Childress. My name is Rob Doster. We are the Field of 68, and we are answering your questions in the chat right now. Make sure you jump in, drop them in there. We'll answer anything that's not going to get us in too much trouble. I'm going to you first on this one, Randolph.
Let's go.
Are you more or less confident after seeing this performance tonight that Michigan State is going to be able to figure things out? That's from Kyle Cooper.
I'm not, because I don't know where the shooting comes from unless we go to fears or someone coming off the bench. I mean, we had a concern coming in. We were joking about it, and then they start the first half and they go 2 for 13.
They had two dudes who shot 40% last year from three.
I think they're bottom
2
3 or
games.
4 in the league in made threes. It was a high percentage, low volume.
Third best in the country last year.
Percentage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't shoot a lot of them, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I mean, it's and then now for the way they play with a 3-guard lineup is what I'm saying. With a 3-guard lineup, I'm expecting more of that. And I'm just concerned about that because the way teams are going to play them, I'm not going out there outside of Tyson Willer. I mean, I'm not going out the paint. I'm sorry. I'm just.
So they play Arizona in about 10 days. Watch them go out and beat Arizona.
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be the most
surprise
Tom
me.
Izzo thing
Wouldn't
ever.
surprise me.
Which is the perfect segue into the next question, Doug. I'm going to you on this one. Is it more likely that Michigan State finishes outside the top 25 or that Duke finishes as a top 3 team in America this season? That is from Brady I.
What's more likely? More likely that Duke finishes top 3. They got dudes. I'm not sure the ACC is back. They got a depth of dudes. They got. I mean, we didn't mention Roach. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We never do.
I've said that.
Nobody
I think
mentions
they got the top.
Roach.
Well,
I'm not saying because he's a great player, but like we're just talking about Kansas.
He's a really good college
Kansas,
player.
you go look on the bench, you're like
Imagine.
not
right,
a lot of answers
right.
there, right? There's some answers. There's answers there.
there's options.
Yeah.
Duke has options.
Yeah.
And not a lot of teams. That's why I said what I said about this time.
Mitchell's a guy who I think he's going to get better.
Stewart's going to get better.
Yes.
TJ Power can't get off the bench. Imagine him at Kansas right now.
Does that hurt you?
Kills me. It does. It does.
Why?
He has been talking about TJ Power nonstop for the last 18 months. Since he
He's
saw
the
him at
best
Peach
player
Jam
at the
last
Peach
year.
Jam last
He's
year,
been
and
talking
a
about him
Massachusetts kid.
nonstop.
So why doesn't he play?
And
I
are
think
you
it's confident. His
are you
confidence
concerned
is-
because
No, you know-
Shire said today, he said the guys you saw tonight are the guys that we're going to go forward with.
Yes.
Do you want to know why he doesn't play?
Why?
Because John Shire saw Jeff Goodman talking about him and was like, yeah, there's no way this kid's any good now.
He's really good.
You ruined
He's
it.
really
You ruined his
good.
career.
I think he'll get some time later.
All right, Goodman. I'm going to you on this one. Do you have any faith in Rick Barnes getting to the Elite Eight or further this year, or is he just a first weekend guy the rest of his career? I had a
No,
second
I
part in
think
that.
he can do it this year. I do. I think he's finally found out the formula, which is actually get guys who can put the ball in the hoop.
You got to score
you
some
know?
points
Yeah,
too.
You can't just
can't win
grind
every
out a
game,
Beat the
53.
crap out of people like they did
Yeah,
last
have a
year.
rock fight.
Dalton Connect, baby.
They really need to hire Rick Barnes to be the new head football coach at Texas
The
A&M.
Dalton Connect question is a really interesting one because I talked to several coaches that were like kicking that idea around, and they're all like, and it's like the kid from what's the kid at Alabama?
Grant Nelson.
Grant Nelson.
Grant Nelson. Like they're both kind of the same. Where you watch them, like they're really good, but like, who do they guard? What does it look like at this level? And
You throw them around some dudes.
right, my
But they're
take
both
is
athletic.
my
enough
take is like
to play.
you have to have offense, and these guys are skilled offensive players, and you can figure it out a way to keep a guy in front and to hide him a little bit defensively. So
Yeah, to score. Tennessee. No,
Yeah,
I think honestly, I think they can make an Elite Eight run.
I mean,
Why
it's going to come down to the offense, and I think that Rick Barnes has.
He had a Gainey too.
This
Yeah.
is the
I think
deepest team I think he's had in a while.
And I think he's embraced the idea that, like, you know what, I can't just go out here and play rugby for 40 minutes and be able to do, because that hasn't worked, right?
He's got some older dudes.
But most of these coaches, they got their identity about
That's
how
who
they
they're gonna
play,
be.
and they're
won't
just
change
not
it. They
changing
won't
it.
change
They're
it.
not changing it at all.
it's November by February they'll be rock fighting it.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Let's hope that doesn't happen. All right, Randolph, we're going to you on this one. It's from Ben Cumin, and he says last year nobody was complaining about the 4 spot for Purdue. They didn't lose anyone at that spot, and now we're complaining about it. What gives? That's a direct quote, by the way. What gives?
No. It's a fair question because we we can say this. I think it's fair to say there's concern because it's a rotation by committee, and you have to figure out something because what happens if Zach Edey gets in foul trouble and when he's out of games, and that's just
I
a
actually think
legitimate
when he's
concern.
off the court, it's easier in a way because Kaufman ran.
Well, that's what they did last year. Mason Gillis started for them at the 4 last year, right?
There's just nobody that's kind of clearly, and we just saw the game last
We
night.
just saw it last night.
And Kaufman ran was not very good.
Kaufman Ren is not a 4. He's a backup 5 in their system, maybe in any system. And there's just no space if you have the two of them on the floor, I don't think. And he's also, last year, his role, which he embraced, was he came in and he got the ball a bunch and he just tried to score every time he got it. Like now you can't do that because the big guy's going to get the ball and your guards are going to get the ball. Like you'll get whatever you get off on the second shot.
All right. One more before we head to break. This is it's just BN. I don't know what that means. I don't know who that is. But the question is, are you surprised that Everyday John is now the third string center for Baylor? And how impressed are you with Eve Missy? I'm going to you first, Doug.
Really impressed by Baylor. And I was impressed because it was a high-level game. Now, the other part to it is, and maybe Randolph can speak to this from your coaching days, is sometimes, and like we saw that tonight, like the Kentucky guys, those guys raise their level, they're main court guys. Whereas where they really struggle is with teams that they're in layup lines and they don't respect. Like I never even heard of Adeline Christian. I've never heard of any of these players. And that's where they get their ass beat, and that's where they look bad. But going back to Baylor, last year they didn't guard.
Got away from it.
They got away from that identity you talked about. This year, I think they guard better. They got a couple freshmen that can put the ball in the bucket. We talk about Jacoby.
He was great again tonight. I mean, they beat the hell out of somebody tonight, but he was really good.
Whatever.
Again.
I mean, Baylor thinks they got something there, and Scott doesn't. Scott is not a big talker about what he's got. He really likes what he's got. I've been very impressed.
I want to ask you then about Ray J. Dennis, because he is a guy that came in as one of the more highly touted transfers in the country, and I don't think he's been great so far this year. Are you worried at all, Randolph?
Well, there was only one game that really we're looking at.
Like
right?
how I asked
Auburn.
Randolph a question.
No,
he couldn't
but I'm
just
just
answer.
setting him up.
No.
I'm setting him up with.
You would think the same thing.
Yeah,
It's still
like one
early to
game,
be.
He was not great for most of it, but he stepped up when it mattered.
When it mattered
at the end.
most.
It's way too early.
Yep, he did have 11 and 8 assists tonight, so maybe I'm talking a little bit too early. Where would you rank Baylor in the Big 12 hierarchy right now? Kansas is probably number one.
Kansas will be one.
Are they right there behind Houston in the same conversation?
I think it's. I think Houston.
I think it's
could end
fair
up
to say.
being above Kansas.
Yeah.
I think Houston may win the Big 12 this
Think?
Houston?
year. I do. Yeah, why not? What are you guys looking at me like I'm nuts?
Because
Like, why?
I don't understand why you decided that you hate everything about Bill Self in
I-
Kansas.
I'll say
Listen,
this. I think
listen,
Houston
here,
will be.
we have more
better
questions
offensive.
coming up on the other side of this break. We got to talk about Memphis. We got one in here about Syracuse, an unbelievable comeback, and Iowa scores a lot of points again. We'll be right back. Shocker. Welcome back to Last Call here on the Stadium app and the Stadium YouTube channel. We are live in Stadium Studios in Chicago. We are coming off of covering the Champions Classic at the United Center. Doug Gottlieb's here with me. Jeff Goodman's here with me. Randolph Childress is here with me. My name is Rob Doster. We are the Field of 68, and we are answering your questions from the YouTube chat right now. I'm going to start you off with this. Goodman, I'm going to you first on this one since you and the coach of this team are such good friends. How impressed are you with Memphis, and are they a second weekend team this year?
I don't know yet. I mean, again, it's a little early with Memphis. I want to see more, but that win against Missouri was huge. They got a ton. I'll give Penny a lot of credit. And RC kind of reminded me of this the other night. They've really scheduled up in the non-conference, but what RC reminded me with was they have to now because Houston's not in the league anymore. Now you got FAU. That's who they're going to be battling with for the American Conference, probably title. But I like who they scheduled. And
Got an old ass point guard too that he's done some things like, that's been an issue for them.
You want to know how long Javon Quinley's been around? He was the guy that got in trouble with Book Richardson at Arizona for the FBI investigation. That feels like it was another lifetime ago.
Quinley's got to be consistent for Memphis. That's probably, I guess, my biggest question mark is, can he be consistent?
Yeah, and a lot of what I watched the game at Missouri, and a lot of what they did was just give the ball to Quinley, give the ball to David Jones, let them rock.
I like David Jones.
Put guys around.
But that's what Penny
and
does. He puts a battery in
his
his guy's back, a ton of confidence, and go play.
Let him make a play.
Right. This one's going to be a really good tease for my toast of the night, which is coming up here in about 5 minutes. Can Syracuse, Doug, go to Hawaii and win a game or two in the Maui Invitational in that loaded field?
I don't know. Do you have the bracket?
I don't have
They play Tennessee in the first round, and the winner plays Gonzaga or Purdue.
No.
It's going to be tough.
No.
That's going to be tough.
No.
Could they get Gonzaga?
I mean, Gonzaga's got no depth this year. No depth.
Yeah, but no.
No. They got good guards.
That was
They
an
do have
easy
good
question to ask.
Here's my
So does
thing.
Syracuse.
And again, like I know a little bit more than I probably let on about Syracuse and the adjustment that they're having to make, whatever. But again, if you just take the 30,000 foot thing and you go like, hey, they got couple really good guards back. Like they didn't win anything last year.
No.
So I understand it's a different style and it was a weird year, but you lose with Jesse Edwards inside, and that's a big loss.
Yeah.
And I just this is probably too much too soon. If it was any of the other tournaments, like but like you're going in, even Gonzaga with their lack of depth,
They need to go to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
with
where they
Randolph
need to
Childress.
go.
Get some wins.
That's where we're flying. We're going to go
That's
straight to the
what I'm saying.
They'll
airport
fly into
tonight.
the morning. In a couple hours, actually.
All right, this is from Mr. Wartberg, which is a name to put on YouTube. Am I crazy thinking Iowa's going to make the 9th in the Big Ten media poll pick look silly, Randolph?
I think the question stays the same. Iowa's going to score. It's can they get a stop?
But they could. Like, honestly, would you be shocked if I told you Iowa finishes fourth?
No. They could be the team that we talked about. Talk about the Big Ten. Right after Purdue and Michigan State. It wouldn't shock me if they were right there.
Perkins has to be like a first-team all-league guard to be able to do that.
Yep. All right, last question that we have right here. I just want a one-word answer. I don't need an elaboration on this. Goodman, who's the better team right now? Creighton, Marquette, or UConn? Who's the best out of those two?
Marquette.
Doug?
Sure.
I'll go Marquette.
Mark Craycon.
UConn hasn't lost a non-conference game in 2 years.
Yeah, well, look, my head says Marquette. My heart says the Huskies, baby. All right, so let's get into toast of the night. My toast of the night, I'm going to start this thing off, is Syracuse playing against Colgate, who beat them by double digits in the Dome in each of the last 2 seasons, was down by 24 points in the second half, and they came back and they won, despite the fact that Jeff Borzello of ESPN.com, he put out a tweet. He didn't correct the tweet. He put out a tweet that says, Matt Langle every year. Apparently not every single year. Jeff Borzello. Randolph, who is your toast?
Can I go back a night?
Yes,
No,
do
no,
it.
no,
Yeah,
no,
do
there
it.
are
Gotta be tonight?
rules.
Okay, it's rules.
I know that.
rules.
Why is it a rule?
Tonight's
Gotta be
tonight's
tonight.
action.
Yep.
Um,
Quick. We got a minute. All right, go to Jeff.
Yeah, go to Jeff.
I'm going Tyler Kolek. I am tough. Trevor's crying over there, crying because
Our producer Trevor is an Illinois fan. We should probably.
he goes
explain
into Champaign with 1 foot.
that. Yep.
And he ends up beating Trevor's
That was the best win
24,
tonight.
yeah.
Carolina.
Not Santa Clara beating Stanford.
That's a good
at,
one.
at Stanford.
That's a good
Is that your
win.
toast of the night?
Right?
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
There you go.
Why not?
Good old Herbie.
Rough
You know-
day for your California Pac-12 schools.
Well, that's an ACC school now, by the way, Stanford.
Sure.
But
Got out of the way of
Santa
that.
Clara and
Touche.
UC Irvine. You know.
By the way, here can I redo my toast of the night?
Sure.
My toast of the night is to Oregon State and Washington State, who made themselves $500 million with that judges ruling today. There is nothing funnier than the Pac-12 schools leaving the Pac-12 and then Oregon State and Washington State getting all the money from them. Listen, this has been last call here. Doug Gottlieb, Jeff Goodman, and Randolph Childress. My name is Rob Doster. We are the Field of 68. We're going to be here every night during the college basketball season. After Field of 68 After Dark is over, we're going to be on last call here on Stadium. We're going to be answering your chat questions. We do everything you need.